Hello again, everybody. Well, today we are visiting the Pleasant Gardens Cemetery. It's over in the East Ridge area of Chattanooga, and it's one of the segregated cemeteries in the area. I believe, if I remember my history correctly, that it was the second one. There's another one that is not too far away from here that hopefully I will get a chance to film sometime in the future. Now, the cool thing about this is that a lot of groups have been able to come in here and clean this old cemetery up. Now, it still needs a lot of work, but the good thing is that people have been cleaning up and trying to take care of it. And we're going to take a look around here. There are some famous people in here, like Ed Johnson. If you follow the Ed Johnson project, Ed Johnson was unfortunately lynched on the Market Street Bridge back in the day. But anyway, we are gonna take a look around and see what we can see. I don't think anybody's used this cemetery in a while. I believe it's not abandoned, but I don't think anybody's been currently buried. Now, I could be wrong about that. A little bit of data on the place. It was established in 1890, and yes, it was during bad times of segregation. And independently of that, you can see that there is definitely some pride in folks getting buried here. Now, I'm gonna walk around here a little bit and follow the road, but you can see that it is pretty amazing. And it looks like somebody's been here documenting certain places. We see the orange flags. This is also kind of a hidden cemetery. If you didn't know where it was, you would be hard-pressed to locate it. You can see right here that there are some, I don't know if the camera can show that they're sunken in areas. So now there is a really cool association that has been helping with this. There's also been some cleanup efforts by groups like Middle Tennessee State University, MTSU, that has shown people how to properly care for and clean headstones. You can see that there's an interesting mix of old and new headstones. I don't know, maybe this fell over. This is 1970. But you can see this is actually a fairly large cemetery. Loops around that way, but we're gonna go up in here. Collier. And I guess the soil was just not good because it's very sunken in. Phelps, the Robert Grant family. Brooks. You can see along the edge of the road there too, there's still a ton. This is just a large cemetery, but as people keep coming in and cleaning up the place, things will slowly get cleaned up and better. The pullums. Pullum. It looks like this cemetery also has been separated out by family areas. Lord, that's about to fall over. Goulston. Now, I was lucky enough to be here with MTSU to help clean up, but as you can see, with the large size of the cemetery, there is still a lot of work. Because some of these 1939. Oh, somebody's left a bottle. Otis Hot Sauce, husband of Mady Washington, 1908 to 1965. That is very cool. Lenora Davison. Yeah. The cemetery evidently keeps on going. We'll take a look at that section here in a minute. We've got white. It's interesting that some of these are separated out by a short wall, and then some have more intricate. Oh, that's a shame. That fell over. Well, you can tell that a lot of these have sunk in so much that they just fell over. Sam William Smith. That's a lamb, so that would be a child. See, ones like this, you've got a more intricate structure now. I don't know who would be in here or who was in here. Maybe it was a building back in the day, and now it's just this. I don't know. I'm glad that somebody's coming in here to document too, because it would be very difficult to weird sounding helicopter. 1964. Young Sally Crawford. You can see that there was a bench here at one point. Lily K. Ross, Washington. Reverend John Davis. See, a lot of these, Ethel McClelland, a lot of these just need some serious cleaning up. so people can document better. 1925, Chas L. Johnston. Well, that really fell down. You can kind of tell the headstones that have been addressed and cleaned so far on the older ones, because you get into where they are very, very cleaned up. And man, Robert Smith, 1931. So that's going to have to be carefully removed. Melvin Jones, husband of Thelma Jones, only sleeping. Mrs. Belle Smith. Well, some of the headstones have popped very good and some have not. Let's go over here and take a closer look. And unfortunately, like all segregated cemeteries, people have been buried in here extremely closely. But since this cemetery is up on a hill, you don't have that bad flooding like one of the last segregated cemeteries that I looked at. McBride, Alberta Gay. There's even some interesting bronze plaques that you don't see a lot of. Rule. Man, there's just tons of sunken in areas. Something Nudie Carter. I can't read the rest of it. It's too faded. Rowells. There's more graves over there that are behind a fence, so I don't know if the family has fenced that section off. We will take a look here in a little bit. I'm betting that that's a child. Very small space. (1926) at rest. Grandmother Agnes, 1946. And some of these trees have just grown up so much. Reverend Ann Martin. 19 1951. At rest. Crooks. Ouch. I am glad that folks have been able to get in here and clean places, because you gotta honor your dead. That is the biggest thing. And then here is the anchor point. Pleasant Garden Cemetery. And I think that it's been hit by something, because founded April 22nd, 1890. Yeah, it looks like, I wonder if that thing got hit and knocked over. And there's still Henry Crawford, Rhino Roger. Oh, we got a soldier. Private First Bonner Bogger. If you hear a tapping, we have a woodpecker near here. Now somewhere is going to be Ed Johnson's headstone. I did not get a chance to see it because I was busy helping clean headstones. Collier, Daniel Francis. Yeah, I mean, if I don't find it, somebody can let me know in the comments. Jackson. Wow, the cemetery just keeps going. And there's a whole nother section down there. We'll take a look at that here in a minute, but let me loop around here. I'm thinking that Ed Johnson was up in the middle more, but I could be wrong. Scruggs. Now, Scruggs, I know I've heard that name before in Chattanooga. So Scruggs is a well-known name. Wow, the bugs are ferocious here. And more sunken. It sank so much that it fell in. Daniel. Wow. Ooh. I don't know if you just saw that. That was a rabbit. So we have buns. It'll be interesting to see who is in the fenced-in area. Wow, some of these really sank in. Oh, there's a lot of poison ivy-ish looking stuff in there, so I'm not 100% sure if I want to go in there. Simpson. So it's Simpson. Well, here is a Johnson here, so I don't know if that is Ed Johnson or not. Or if that's just the Johnson family plot area. Every single one of these in this area has fallen over. So there has been a ton of settlement in here. George. Jack Robinson, Phillips, Thomas, Cavalier, Henry Crawford. Okay, then I've worked my way back to the other section, so let's go down. I'll catch up with you guys in a minute. I'm going to go down and check out that other section. We've got McFarland's over here, Carter's, Alexander's, Cynthia Washington. So we've got some Washingtons. We've got Smith. So it seems like the latest burials were in the 1970s. Richard Lee Thomas. Benny H. Smith. Another soldier, Arthur Smith. So we have several soldiers in here then. Now I'm not going to be able to cover the entire cemetery. This is fairly large, and it appears to keep still going. But we're going to take a look at as much as we can. Pearl Pope. Pope, I've heard the name before in Chattanooga too, and you can see it's an interesting mix. Some are concrete stones, some are marble, some are granite. Then you have some that are unknown. Winfrey, Willie Winfrey. Spence, I don't know if you can see, but they do go down that way. More recent, or at least the decorations are more recent. That's very cool to see a, not iron, but the idea of the old iron cross. Oh, here we go. Now, if you want to read more about Ed Johnson, I'll put a link to the Ed Johnson Project on Facebook down below. But that was a fairly horrific thing that happened back in the day. I'm not going to talk about it now. If you want to do research on it, you do so later. It's definitely part of the past that was horrible, and I will leave it at that. Anyway, let's work our way back out here and see what we can see, shall we? You know what? That one's a pretty interesting one too. I like how some of these concrete ones are very interesting. While the concrete doesn't last as long, I kind of like the concrete ones because no matter how rich or poor you are, as long as you could get some concrete, you could really come up with some interesting ways of making a headstone, different shapes. Just really interesting. I've seen a whole bunch of different ideas, from burying glass beads and stuff into them to other stuff, so it's very interesting to see what people can do. And then there are some where they're just plain blocks of concrete and people have carved. Oh wow, that was a baby. Teresa Rankin. Well guys, I'm going to catch up with you here in a second. I'm going to get up the hill a little bit. Well, we're back up on the hill. I'm going to work my way down to that other fence to see if that's just a family section. You can see too, based off the moss, that there is a lot of damp in this area. So as the different groups come in to help clean and clear, things will slowly get better. But considering the size of the cemetery, it's going to take a while, because this cemetery is quite large. There's another McFarland. Looks like somebody used a boulder that has been used like that in the past. That one is just about worn smooth. That's the only negative about using concrete, is it just doesn't last as long as the other stone will. Well, I was wrong. It looked like there was other headstones behind it, but they were actually in front of it, and there's another road going down this way. Now, I don't have enough time, unfortunately, to go down that way, but I am guessing that that is the... No, there are some behind it. Oh, you know what that is. That is the Jewish cemetery that's right beside... what is the name of that cemetery? That cemetery is the Shari Zion Workman's Circle Cemetery. Now, unfortunately, it's locked and I can't get in there. But I'll hopefully get permission at some point in the future and be able to go in and document it. There's a bottom shot of where that top of that tree fell over. That's one of the things, when some of these people were buried, you had the trees very small. And there was a building right here. Now, I do not know, but does anybody know? Please comment below as to what this building may have been. Hudgens, Bradford, and some of the last people to see on the way out. hymns. Those are some of those interesting concrete ones. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my look at the Pleasant Garden ceremony. A reminder of horrible times in the past, but also a very beautiful cemetery. And it shows that despite everything, pride still shines through. Anyway, guys, I'm off to go on another journey. So until then, why don't you go on a journey of your own? We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.